Hello and welcome to the iTAG X30 training session. I'll be covering the following: the product itself, the iTAG X30, along with some of its features and benefits, an overview of the ELS software, the certification of the tag, the configuration of the tag, access control, battery life, and the product roadmap. I'll also be talking about the X30 location selector software, including the deployment, the configuration, and also the hybrid zones. I'll talk a little bit about some example applications, the pricing and licensing, and also the marketing collateral. The iTAG X30 has been designed to leverage hybrid technology across your entire industrial site. Utilising GPS, Wi-Fi, LF and BLE, the iTAG X30 enables you to accurately locate workers across your site, improving worker safety and reducing the need for dense Wi-Fi infrastructures in open areas, helping to improve not only worker safety, but also increase efficiency, compliance and accountability. I'm going to share with you now a short YouTube animation which we've created, and also this system infographic which gives an overview of some of the technologies used within the tag and also how the system works together.
Introducing the new iTAG X30 with hybrid technology. Accurately locate your workers in hazardous and non-hazardous areas, anytime, anywhere. Leverage hybrid technology across your entire industrial site, improving worker safety and reducing the need for dense Wi-Fi infrastructure. Industrial processing sites can cover large areas, meaning one single RTLS technology is not enough to provide accurate site-wide visibility without huge capital expenditure. Using iTAG X30, the ELS software and mobile view, you can configure your site to accurately locate personnel anywhere. Adding hybrid zones into the ELS further improves location accuracy. The iTAG X30 uses hybrid technology including GPS, RSSI triangulation, LF location data, and BLE to determine the tag location. For example, areas with a large number of Wi-Fi access points, such as indoor areas or processing areas, can make use of multiple technologies to gain high levels of accuracy. The Mobile View software enables you to accurately locate personnel in real time from a single platform, with automatic notifications according to your own criteria. It's a fully scalable enterprise-class system. You just need a web browser to access it. In less built-up outdoor environments, such as tank farms or storage yards, the inclusion of GPS technology in the iTAG X30 means fewer access points are required for accurately locating personnel. The Wi-Fi in these areas is only used to provide the backhaul of the location data to the ELS, which is then visualized in Mobile View. For site-wide Industrial Internet of Things functionality, you should consider your RTLS requirements alongside other uses of the wireless network, such as other sensor backhaul, data connectivity, or applications like VoIP. Leverage hybrid technology across your entire industrial site with the all-new iTAG X30, improving worker safety and reducing the need for dense Wi-Fi infrastructure. Realize the power of hybrid technology for site-wide visibility with the all-new iTAG X30.
The animation can be found on our YouTube channel. So what's inside the box? This packaging is really for single tags only. This is if your customers are doing a small scale proof of concept. So each tag will be packaged individually and will come with a quick start guide and also its own charger as well. Each tag will be provided with a single charger. The tag itself has got a number of features. I'm just going to go over these now, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail on some of the features and benefits on the next slide. So the tag has an emergency call button, also has a call button cover. The tag has visual, audible and tactile notifications. Inside the tag, the technologies used are Wi-Fi, GPS, LF and also BLE. The BLE is enabled, however, the functionality will be a second phase of this project. So we'll share with you when the BLE functionality will be available later on. The tag is rechargeable, so each tag comes with a charging cable. We will be offering a multi-charger as well, however, that's a later phase of this project. Within the tag, there's an accelerometer, which can provide man-down functionality. The man-down functionality will also be a later phase of this project. However, the accelerometer is used in a number of different things across the tags, including the battery life management, as well as changing the beacon rate depending on the profile. You have the ability to include an access control card or a photo ID card in the front of the tag, and also one of the later phases will be bidirectional communication of the call button. So the reason for the call button cover, this is to avoid inadvertent activation. It provides two-stage activation, so the wearer knows that they've pressed the call button because they've opened the cover first, and it's easily accessible in an emergency. Over-the-air updates are available when new features become available in the tag. So basically future-proofing this product so that when we release BLE functionality, call button acknowledgement, man down, all of those things can be upgraded easily by your customers on their site. The ELS software. So this software integrates seamlessly with mobile view, with the AeroScout location engine. And within the software, you can then configure hybrid zones to improve the accuracy. The tag is fully certified for ATEX, IECX, gas and dust, zone 0 and 20. We have an integrated access control card. So here you can easily identify workers and visitors, reduce the need to have two different products, so you don't need an access control card as well as a tag, and it eliminates some of the workers perhaps forgetting their tag, as without the access control card they have no access to the site. So it's got simple USB charging, so one side is a 2-pin connection, and the other side is a USB-A. Can be charged in the car, at home or on the site, as long as it's charged in a non-hazardous area. And there are some power supply regulations that need to be complied with. The emergency call button is there to obviously press for help in an emergency. The LED on the top and the front of the tag will illuminate red, and this will illuminate red for around 30 minutes, providing notification to the user itself and also those around them. The call button information is sent through the ELS through to mobile view, so that the notification is there that somebody needs help. The Xtronics Location Selector. So this is a piece of software we've developed alongside the iTAG X30, and it's designed to make advanced decision-making software to provide hybrid location capability. So the ELS software basically determines the tag location using an algorithm which includes GPS, RSSI triangulation, LF and BLE location data. The ELS selects the best location of a tag. It manages the tag firmware upgrades. The ELS itself consists of 4 applications provided by the ELS installer. 2 of these are services and 2 are user interfaces. So one would be the user interface for the ELS itself, and one user interface is for the over-the-air upgrades. It's a simple connection to the ALE. You can download and configure the maps directly straight from the ALE into the ELS. Once you've done that, you just need to add global coordinates to those maps. So basically we're putting the global coordinates onto the maps in the ELS so that we know in the real world where those things are. You can further improve accuracy by configuring hybrid zones depending on the infrastructure in those areas or some of the complexities of the site. You can view location of devices and also high availability is available. So we have the certification, ATEX and IECX currently. We also have the Radio Equipment Directive. We're just waiting on the FCC certification to be completed, and MET US and Canada will be expected at the end of September, as well as the industrial version of the tag, so a non-certified version, will also be expected for global availability at the end of September. To configure the iTAG X30, you would use the TED and the Tag Manager BD software. There's 7 predefined user profiles, so this helps save time when configuring products. You simply choose the profile that best suits your application. And there's seven profiles, as I said. Some are with motion and some are without motion. So your tag can beacon every 15 seconds continuously, or you can perhaps have your tag beaconing for every 3 minutes when you're static, and then move to every 5 or 15 seconds when you're in motion. All these profiles are unidirectional currently, and obviously when the bidirectional feature is available within the tag, there will be another 7 profiles available. The access control card or photo ID. So the front of the tag has been designed to display access control or a photo ID card. The access control cards have been designed specifically so that they can fit into the device. However, they are a standard size, and it's just the middle section that pops out to be inserted into the tag. So standard ID card printers such as Matica and Magicard printers can be used. If you're using the card with the built-in RFID, the technology used there is a DesFire EV1 technology, and you can have those configured to your own specification. Blank cards with no RFID chips are also available if a customer didn't want to combine the access control, but they did want to have a photo ID on the front of the card. HID I-class tags can also be used with the product. Again, the HID I-class tag would be purchased through HID. We don't sell that product. However, you can still use a blank photo ID card on top of the HID I-class tag to still have the feature of being able to identify workers easily. Like I said before, the iTAG X30 has a rechargeable internal battery. It's designed to last throughout multiple shifts. However, we do recommend that daily charging, but dependent on your usage and the configuration profiles, the battery can last for several days at a time. We can provide some examples on request. We'd just ask for you to provide us some information. So if you do want to have a battery life scenario, then please contact one of the business development managers who can help you out there. We would probably ask a number of questions, including how much time is the tag spending outside? Will the tag be in motion and how often? Will exciters be used to switch the tag on and off at the entrance and exit? What do the shift patterns look like? How many breaks do they have inside and outside? Are they in motion? Are they not in motion? There's a couple of questions there. Is the tag going to be static overnight for at least 8 to 12 hours? What are the working conditions? So what's the temperature in the region that you're wanting to sell this product into? And what are the site's processes for charging? So there's a number of different things that we would need to know to be able to help out with some battery life scenarios. The battery itself is a 1100 milliampere hour lithium ion battery. It's rechargeable. Full charge takes around 4 to 5 hours. The charge adapter is a USB-A to 2-pin and it has a 1 meter cable, but you must comply with 60950 for the power supply. And the battery cannot be changed by the customer. A battery option will be available through Xtronics. In terms of how long we expect the battery to last, the battery capacity does start to reduce after about 500 charges, and this reduces down to about 80%. This doesn't necessarily mean that you need to change the battery after 500 charge cycles. It just means that perhaps the charge may not last as long. The battery level indication in mobile view will be high, medium and low. When the battery's in high, it's 75% and above. When it's in medium, we're at between 30% and 75%. And then in low, it's anything below 30%. When the battery's in low battery mode, the LED on the top of the device will illuminate and flash red. If the battery goes into the reserve battery region, which is around about 10% of the battery capacity, the LED on the top of the device will be a static red, so it won't no longer be flashing. When the battery is connected to the charger, there'll be a slow, the LED will flash slowly, and that will be a red flashing until the charging is complete. And when the charger is still connected and charging is complete, the green LED will be static on the top of the tag. The feature roadmap. So here's a number of features that we will be introducing as part of the iTAG X30 platform. So as I mentioned, we've got the MET certification. We will also be, over the next couple of months, be finalising the software and firmware for product availability at the end of September. We've got BLE Exciter functionality. So this is where we'll be utilising BLE beacons to act as an exciter. So you may be able to do choke points with the BLE beacons, entry and exit, that type of thing. We're looking at including BLE triangulation. So this will be where you would use a BLE beacon as opposed to Wi-Fi access points. So if you had a customer who wanted to do a turnaround and track workers during a turnaround but didn't have a Wi-Fi infrastructure in their processing unit that was good enough for RSSI triangulation, then you could potentially use BLE beacons where these don't need to be powered by mains power. They quite often run on a battery. So you could use this as a mobile solution for turnarounds as and when you needed to do them. There would still need to be Wi-Fi for the backhaul, so there would need to be a network there, and obviously there would need to be, the tag would need to be in range to send the message. Bidirectional communication of the call button. So this is when the call button's been pressed. The person viewing mobile view can acknowledge the wearer that help is on the way. We'll also be introducing man down for detect. This is where the tag automatically sends a notification to mobile view that the worker is in distress. This could be if there's been an emergency or there's been a medical condition or a medical emergency where they aren't able to press the call button themselves and they've fallen to the ground, and so this would be activated automatically. We're also looking at adding additional reporting information and GPS data into mobile view, and we're also hoping that the multi-charger will be complete by the end of March next year. So majority of the features will be released towards the end of this year, with some of them kind of moving out to February, March time next year. Okay, so in terms of the ELS deployment, it involves the following stages. So obviously there needs to be a Wi-Fi infrastructure. So if this was a new deployment at a new site, they need to have obviously deployed their Wi-Fi infrastructure first. We would need to install and configure all the third-party systems. So this includes the Aeroscout location engine, SQL server, that type of thing. Once the ALE has been configured, you can then install the ELS on the Windows server. You create your SQL database and configure the ELS settings. So this is things like email addresses and where to find some of this information. You then download the site data from the ALE. And once all the maps have been loaded into the ELS, you can then add your global map coordinates. You can create your hybrid zones for location performance tuning. So if your map has GPS coordinates on it, then you can add hybrid zones onto that map. And then obviously if you're using high availability, then you would also install the ELS on a second server for high availability. What information is used to make the location decision? So we get a number of different bits of information from the ALE from the location engine. And then that's when the ELS does its clever thing with its algorithm and decides what message is going back to mobile view. So in terms of the information that the ELS receives, we receive the tag's MAC address, the GPS latitude and longitude. We also receive the GPS horizontal standard deviation. We receive the Wi-Fi X and the Wi-Fi Y. So these are the locations of X and Y on the Wi-Fi map. And we also receive the exciter ID if there's an exciter in the vicinity. And the information that gets sent back from the ELS back to the ALE is the tag's MAC address, the selected X and Y positions, and also the selected map, so the selected Wi-Fi map. Just to let you know that the GPS data is not sent to the Mobile View database, and at the current time, the GPS latitude and longitude will not be shown on Mobile View in the Mobile View SQL database. So that information is something that we're looking to add in the future. So when you're configuring the hybrid zones, we look at the type of structure that your site has, and we also look at the technology contribution. So there's 3 types of structures within the ELS that you can use to configure. And we have a blast shelter, which is usually a metallic building with no GPS signal when inside, but it might have Wi-Fi. We also have a processing unit, which is a metallic structure with open areas, and quite often the sky is visible. And there may be Wi-Fi installed within that area. We also have a standard building, which this is like an office type building or a lunchroom building. This is where they've got walls and a roof, and there may be Wi-Fi installed inside as well. So in terms of the technology contributions, we would be looking for good and bad. Good Wi-Fi for location tracking, bad Wi-Fi for location tracking, so that's where you perhaps only have one access point, for example, and we'd also be looking at the GPS data. So when you're configuring a hybrid zone, for your understanding, when you configure a hybrid zone which is a processing unit with good Wi-Fi positioning, this means the Wi-Fi has been designed for RSSI triangulation, and what we would use there in terms of the message sending back to Mobile View would be, we would use Wi-Fi and GPS will be used. GPS will be used if the GPS is good and there's a Wi-Fi location. If the Wi-Fi is good with a GPS fix, so a GPS fix just means that we have GPS information. It just may not be as good as we expect it to be. So in that instance, we would use Wi-Fi. And then if we have a Wi-Fi position with no GPS fix, then this scenario is not allowed in the ELS, and it would always send the last known location. And the reason for this is so that we're not showing the tag jumping between different buildings or processing units. If there's no GPS fix, then we would send the last known location. This, however, should not really happen, because in this type of area, you're outside, you do have visibility of the sky, you would most likely have a GPS fix. So in that situation, we would be using Wi-Fi. A hybrid zone, which is a processing unit with poor Wi-Fi positioning. So this is where you may have one access point in the middle of the structure, perhaps on each level or every few levels. So in this type of environment, we would always use the GPS. The Wi-Fi wouldn't be used in the algorithm because there's only one access point. So if we use the Wi-Fi, it would always position you in on top of the access point. And the GPS position with no fix, again, would not be allowed. And we'll use the last location. If you've got a blast shelter, so this is a building, a metal building usually, which doesn't allow any GPS information in. So if you're inside and there's Wi-Fi inside, it will use the Wi-Fi. If you've got a good Wi-Fi position and no GPS fix, it will use the Wi-Fi because it realizes that this building is a building that doesn't allow GPS inside. And if you do have a GPS fix, then the algorithm will know that will know to use the GPS data, because this may be that you're outside and you have a view to the sky. So for example, you may be on top of the blast shelter. So if we did get a GPS fix, you would be shown on that map on that building. If we chose a building with good Wi-Fi positioning, this is where you're inside a building, an office building, a lunchroom, something like that, where you've got walls and windows and also a roof. If your GPS is good, because we do still get GPS inside, then it will use the GPS data. If you're inside with the Wi-Fi data is good, but you have a poor Wi-Fi, you have a poor GPS fix, then we would use the Wi-Fi location. And if you were inside with a good Wi-Fi and no GPS fix, then we would use the Wi-Fi. And the reason that these two are slightly different in terms of the building and the process unit is because the processing units quite often they don't have any walls, so tags can get drawn into particular areas if you're not configuring them with the right configuration. So it may be that you're walking along the road, and because you had a Wi-Fi position, your tag may jump into a Wi-Fi processing unit. We don't want to do that really, because it just shows that it's inaccurate location tracking. So it's probably easier to show this on a demo. So as and when you start to have demos with our technical services team or our sales engineers, they can show you how smooth the transition is between some of these hybrid zones. And if you're in a building with poor Wi-Fi, so again, if you've only got one access point but to cover the whole building, we wouldn't use that Wi-Fi position. We would just use GPS if the GPS was good. There is the ability within the ELS to configure virtual muster zones. This would mean that you could configure a virtual muster zone, and every tag which was within that location would be pulled into the centre of that muster zone. Obviously, this can only be used in outdoor areas, and it can only be used when iTAG X30 is used by all employees, because we are utilising the GPS here to show that people are mustered in a particular area. If you want to use this feature, you need to make sure that the ELS mirrors the muster area in mobile view, so that the evacuation monitoring application can count the number of employees mustered and not mustered. So why would you do it? So you don't need additional infrastructure, so no exciters are required. There would need to be obviously Wi-Fi within the vicinity to be able to send the backhaul information. However, yeah, no additional infrastructure from an exciter, but this can only be used if all employees are using an iTAG X30. So there's a live data screen in the ELS. This is really used to check that the ELS is working. So this will be like during deployment, you would check this screen to see that you're receiving data from the tags. It's not a replacement for mobile view. This will only show data from 10 tags can be viewed on this live data screen. The tag information must be added into this screen, so you must add the tags if you want to be able to see them. And the data that you would see across the bottom of the screen would be the MAC address, the time, the map that it's putting or showing that tag on, the horizontal standard deviation, and the preferred signal type, whether it was Wi-Fi or GPS. This data is purged every 24 hours. So obviously if you want to keep this data for any reason, you need to ensure that you save the data after each 24-hour period. So some example applications, we've got obviously worker safety. So allowing the workers to call for help in an emergency and providing full site-wide visibility. And this is something that has been difficult to do with just a Wi-Fi only device, such as the iTAG 100, due to the vast amount of Wi-Fi infrastructure that's required for, sub 10 meter accuracy. So obviously the inclusion of GPS within the tag really helps from a site-wide visibility point of view, because lots of this area on these huge sites is outside, and it just means you can reduce the amount of Wi-Fi infrastructure required, because we're only using the Wi-Fi for backhaul when GPS is being used. You can obviously use these tags for turnaround, so to streamline workflows, differentiate employees between employees and contractors or visitors, and this also helps to keep projects on track, and you can analyse obviously the data and the efficiency there as well. Can be used for efficiency, so improving operational efficiency to help reduce costs, and perhaps streamline workflows and things like that. And then obviously we've got regulatory compliance, so you can view a full audit trail as you can with the iTAG 100 in mobile view. This may help with process improvements, and also the product is obviously certified for use in hazardous areas. So in terms of the pricing and licensing of the tag, the hazardous area tags are, for a single tag it's $335, and for any tag over 50 units they go down to $325. The industrial version, so these are the non-certified for hazardous area tags. We're looking at $285 for the single tag and $275 for anything over 50. The ELS engine, so the ELS software is free of charge. However, there is a maintenance and support fee on the ELS, which is 1.5% of the tag's list price. So it's added onto the tag, each tag that's purchased. So this is around $5 per tag, and this helps us to be able to obviously support and maintain the ELS for future upgrades, and also any software improvements that are required. The standard maintenance and support applies on the tag licenses. So if you're purchasing 500 tags, for example, then you would also need 500 tag licenses for Mobile View. We are offering a trade-in, so on the iTAG 100, and for certified VARs, the trade-in would be a standard 35% discount, or up to 35% discount, plus an additional 10% for any tags that are traded in. So this is any iTAG 100 that's traded in, and they want to swap over to the iTAG X30. The iTAG 100, though, they must be in use, and they must be covered by a current maintenance and support agreement. So the tags are featured in the price list, which you can find on the Dropbox, and also there's a number of accessories there as well, including the RFID photo ID cards, and also the call button cover if you needed spares, and charging cables and things like that as well. Product availability. So we launched the product on the 1st of July. Lead time is around 8 to 10 weeks for initial volume production. This may be 10 to 12 weeks dependent on stock availability. We will be starting volume production from the beginning of September, and again, this is all dependent on stock availability and when we receive orders. We do have around 40 to 50 tags available for small scale proof of concept, so this would be from about mid to late August, and these would be supported by our technical services and engineering team. This is if perhaps one of our certified VARs wanted to do a proof of concept on this, or if a customer wanted to, an existing customer perhaps wanted to do a proof of concept, or a new customer. But obviously they would need to have a Wi-Fi infrastructure in place to be able to do that. The release is, we're planning to do a controlled release, so on every deployment there will be support required from our team to ensure that each deployment goes smoothly, and we imagine the first probably 5 to 10 deployments will be part of this controlled release. So in terms of the marketing, what are we doing? When are we doing it, and how are we doing it? So we've started already with some email journeys, and we've segmented this list from our database into end users, system integrators and Macs, and then other unknown company types as well. Our CVAR emailing is slightly different to the kind of end user emailing that we'll be doing. Each of these emails, if a customer interacts with the email and clicks through to our landing page, we'll also be sending a supporting sales email as well, which will come from Karen, to say that we can see that you've clicked through or you're interested. How can we help you? We've got some sponsorships with HazardX and also Pipeline Oil and Gas, where we'll be doing some newsletters and some emailers. We'll be doing, and you may have seen some of the LinkedIn in-mail and LinkedIn paid ads that we've been working on, and also Google display ads and text ads as well. We'll be active on our social media channels, so if there's anything on there that you see related to iTAG X30, it would be great if you could share that content. And also, obviously, we'll be communicating with our CVARs as well. We've already sent a kind of introduction email out to you already. We also sent a press release out to the press, so you may see that the press release is featured in some some publications. So our email journey started on the 1st of July, and we're working on 1 email a week, starting for 7 weeks. The display ads also started on the week of the 1st of July, with our sponsored newsletter. So one of those went out the first week of July, and also the emailers as well, with our partners. We've updated our website, so the product is available on our website, and there's a dedicated landing page for anybody clicking through from one of our emails. You may have seen the social media update, so we've already started to communicate on our social media, and obviously we sent our certified VARs an update as well. In August, we'll be doing a virtual event with our FID journal. This will be a kind of online webinar, a short webinar, which John Hartley will be doing. We've got the HazardX newsletter, our blog, which if you haven't seen our blog, then it would be great for you to have a look at that and perhaps share some of that content with your customers. This is we'll be focusing in August on hybrid technology information. So there'll be lots of blog articles around hybrid technology. And during August, we'll also continue with our emails and social campaigns, and also our display and text ad campaigns as well. So in terms of the material and the collateral, we've written a white paper. So this is enhanced worker safety in the process industries, and it's talking about the need for hybrid technology. We've got a brochure, so a nice 4-page, four-page brochure for you to share with your customers if you need to. This is the landing page. So when our customers go to the landing page from the email, this is the type of thing they'll see. We've also got the animation, which I shared with you at the beginning of the presentation. The infographic, which obviously provides a simple overview of the system and the requirements needed. This is very simplified, so obviously we know that the infrastructure required for a Cisco system obviously is there is quite a lot, but you can go into that detail with customers as needed. And then we're also this is just a copy of one of our emails, so this is what our emails look like when they're being sent to our database. So that's it for the iTAG X30 launch presentation. Obviously, if you have any questions, please get in touch with us either at info@xtronics.com or through your business development manager in your region. I'd like to thank you all for taking your time today to listen to me, and hopefully this product, you're as excited as we are about the release of this new product. So all the best, and hope to speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye.